I just want to thank you, Lord. Been so good. Been so good. Been so good. I just want to thank you, Lord. Love you, Lord. Love you, Lord. Love you, Lord. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you. I just want to thank you, Lord. Good morning, Unity Church of Raleigh.
Everybody, join us in our first congregational song,
The Breath of God. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The grace of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is gracing me and resting in the grace of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me and resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The joy of God is joy in me and resting in the joy of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is love in me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The love of God is love in me and resting in the love of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. The breath of God is breathing me and resting in the breath of God. I know that all is well. I know that all is well. One more time. I know that all is well.
So last weekend, Jeff and I were on the Orange County Art Tour. Now, this is something we've been doing for years and years. It is a wonderful opportunity to go out on a beautiful November fall weekend and look at works of art in people's studios and homes. So we were at my favorite artist's house. Now, she is a glass worker, so she makes these amazing solar-lighted glass balls that are on a stake, and you put them in your yard, and they soak up all the light, and then at night they come on in different colors. They turn your yard into a fairyland. Now, her new thing is these different sizes of pumpkins that glow in the dark. So she makes witches' balls and ornaments and jewelry in these amazing, huge glass bowls and these stunning sconces. And she shows with her very dear friend, a painter whom we love. So I'm all excited. We walk in and nobody is talking about the art. They are all talking about the buck. There is an 8-point buck, a male deer, in the backyard, curled up, sleeping like a dog, with his little nose under his hooves. And every now and then he lifts his majestic head and he turns like this, styling and profiling, and then he puts his head back down and falls back asleep. Now, everybody is talking about this animal. And when people walk in, they hear about the buck and they walk through the house and they go outside to snap pictures of this animal. Now, they were staring so hard at the buck that they were losing sight of art that was on every shelf, every wall, every surface, in every room. They were staring so hard that they were bumping into tables of glass. They were running into walls. They were knocking people out of the way, and they were tripping over rugs and steps. It was crazy. But I got to thinking that bitterness and anger and hurt and unforgiveness are a lot like that buck. They take up all the space in the room. They eat up, these negative emotions eat up our focus, and they make us blind. They blind us to all the other things in our lives, those beautiful things, those good and kind, noble and loving, peaceful and prospering, and happy and healthy things. Now, unity principle teaches us that it is not enough to know the truth. We have to live the truth we know. Now, that means that we have to do more than know that forgiveness is a spiritual principle. We have to practice forgiveness. We have to practice releasing the past. We have to practice letting go of old hurts. We have to practice walking away from people and situations that no longer serve us. And this is hard. I am an amazing person. I can remember every hurt, every criticism, every wound from the last 40 years. It's amazing. I'm amazing. And I do exactly what Bev told us not to. I pitch my tent in that valley of the shadow, and I hammer those tent stakes hard into the ground. What? No. Now, unity tells us, and Scripture tells us, that forgiveness is a practice. It is something that we can do. It tells us you forgive 7 times. And if you can't do it 7 times, you do it 77 times 7 times. And this gives me hope. What this tells me is we keep doing it until we get it right, until we can let go of whatever it is that is causing us so much pain. Now, this week I read a great quote in my Science of Mind magazine, and it goes like this: I am thankful for all the people who walked into my life and helped me make it fantastic. And I am thankful for all the people who walked out of my life and helped me make it fantastic. Forgiveness is all about a fantastic life, and unforgiveness blocks fantastic because it separates us, it isolates us from all the beauty and all the works of art in our lives and in our world. So today, no matter what or who is happening to us or through us, we remember always to stop, take that breath, and just shift our focus away from whatever it is, and instead to look to that beauty, to those wonderful things, those inspiring things, those awesome things. So today we light our Christ candle for Ephesians 4:32. Be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ forgave you. And we affirm, I love and forgive the people in my life who have hurt me and release them to their highest and best good. And they love and forgive me and release me to my highest and best good. So good morning. I greet you in the name of Jesus Christ and in the warm and loving spirit of Unity Church of Raleigh. In unity, we welcome all people and honor the God of your understanding. We bless all churches and spiritual groups throughout the world because we know we are all sons and daughters of the same loving Creator. So we welcome everyone. We welcome everybody who is watching us on your device today. Thank you for honoring us with your presence as well. Please be sure to share and like us. My name is Melanie. I'm your platform leader, and our musicians today are Greg and Alan, Susan and Peggy, and our speaker is Suzette Faith Foster. And now let's stand and say together our statement of faith, which you can find on your inside front cover of your bulletin and on the wall. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life and affairs, God the good. With that, let's walk around the room and say good morning to each other. Good morning.
Sorry about Beverly. Shock. Well, life.
Let's do our second song today. Take up your spade. The sun is up, a new day is before you. The sun is up, wake up your sleeping soul. The sun is up, hold on to what is yours. Take up your spade and break ground. Shake off your shoes, leave yesterday behind you. Shake off your shoes, forget not where you've been. Shake off your shoes, forgive and be forgiven. Take up your spade and break ground. Give thanks for all that you've been given. Give thanks for who you can become. Give thanks for each moment and every crumb. Take up your spade and break ground. Take up your spade and break ground. Take up your spade and break ground.
I love it. Beautiful. Thank you. You may be seated. So we always begin our announcements with gratitude. I'm grateful for two things. I think our church is on the prettiest street in town. Admire as you go out the beautiful plantings, but also autumn has arrived on this street and it is glorious. Admire all the beautiful trees. The other thing I'm grateful for are our veterans. It is said that the person who understands, truly understands the value of peace in the world is a person who has served in our armed forces. It is Veterans Day tomorrow. And so I'd like to ask all the veterans in our community to please stand and or wave. Veterans? Yes, yes. Wonderful. Shall we do our blessing for these folks? We love you, we appreciate you, we love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. And that's the truth. Thank you for your service to our country. Today's flowers are sponsored by Laura Dirth in honor of, well, everybody's birthday, everyone in her family. is a November baby. So Laura, thank you for sponsoring these beautiful flowers. They are for you to take home and enjoy. These flowers from a local farmer. If you would like to sponsor a flower, it is a $35 love offering. We have a sign-up sheet in the back, and on that Sunday, it will be written up in the bulletin, and they will be for you to take home. So thank you, Laura. We appreciate you. We would like to welcome any guests we have in our community today. There are a lot of folks in our community today I haven't met, so thank you for coming out. We appreciate you being with us, and we look forward to getting to know you over at the hospitality table after the service. And now let's invite our kids to go have a great day in Sunday school. We are going to be working on the gratitude song, Andrea. So if you want to go. Okay, so a couple of things are going on in our church. Of course, we are signing cards today for the next 2 or 3 Sundays for our folks in the military. These are Christmas cards. Our goal, visual display, 300 cards, and so we are just writing all these cards. So thank you. At the table we even have scripts if you're not quite sure what to sign, and all you do is you write your message and then you sign your first name and Unity Church of Raleigh. This is a wonderful mission, I feel, that we have, part of the Spiritual Social Action Team. This team is meeting after the service at noon. We are going to be talking about this year's projects. We do all kinds of wonderful things every month. So if you would like to join this team, grab a plate of food and then meet us in Adult Ed at noon. Now, we cannot send cards with glitter on them, and we had some cards with glitter. So on the back name tag table, we have put out those cards. And if you would like to take some Christmas cards home, drop a check made out to UCR or your loose change in the loose change jar and take those cards with you. So we're going to benefit the Racinga Island kids by selling those Christmas cards that we can't use for the military. So thank you for doing that. We are hoping to start an informal singles social group. This is just a group of folks to go out and eat dinner every now and then, or get together for dinner at night, or maybe do some outings. If you are interested, Mary Jane is at the back table here. Mary Jane, if you could wave, she'll be coming around after the service with a sign-up sheet. She has a lot of folks signed up so far, so we are looking for a group, and then see what happens. Should be fun. Let's see, early meditation on Sundays at 9:45, a good chance to step off that gerbil wheel and get straight and set and rest in the peace with Al and our beautiful meditation. The men's group, see, Al, has a Thanksgiving lunch next Saturday at noon here at the church. It should be fun. We have a wonderful men's group. Guys, if you are interested in coming out and communing over turkey, and talking about all things spirit and Thanksgiving. Al, if you could wave, please. Men, if you'd like to join them at noon, see Al after the service. We are selling poinsettias for the holidays. In your bulletin, you'll see red or green forms inviting you to buy a poinsettia. They're just $15, and we're going to ornament the platform in December with these beautiful flowers that you can by an honor, recognition, celebration, or memory of someone or something. So thank you for sponsoring a flower this time. Licensed Unity teacher Al Henderson is starting another small group for UCR, and I would like to invite Al to come up right now and tell us just a little bit about this group. Can we have some applause for Al to get him up here?
As some of us may or may not be aware, we just concluded a lesson series of Finding Yourself in Transition, which was well received by those in attendance. This was a book study relating to the journey as we as a church are currently coming through, and touched on relevant concerns of the fact that our culture offers little help with overcoming the enormous spiritual, personal, and social economic changes that are occurring around us and within us. Out of that study, an idea was born of establishing an ongoing support group for this church that would continue to guide us with meaningful topics that address these issues and other topics relevant to today in group discussion. The purpose of this group would be to talk and not attempt to fix or counsel anyone, but rather to have an open forum in which our members and friends could come to discuss today's relevant issues or burning desires in an open and safe environment. It was suggested that the group would meet for 1 hour following Sunday services on a weekly or monthly basis, whichever the group decides. And those who would be interested in the group are asked to use the sign-up sheet that's in the back or see me after the service. And as Melanie has already fondly and nicely suggested, the men's group is having its first Thanksgiving luncheon, dinner. It's going to be lunch, actually. It's 12 noon, and all men are invited to attend who choose to come. We'd be more than happy to have you. We're having turkey, stuffing, and all of the goodies that you can possibly think of eating. Have a blessed day.
Thanks, Al. So after the service, we'll be walking around with that sign-up sheet too. Please read your bulletin. There are all kinds of wonderful things happening in this church. And the last thing is that we will have the usual full chair takedown of these middle chairs after the service. So why don't we prepare now for the peace and refreshment of meditation with our guest speaker, Suzette, by singing the song In the Silence.
In the silence, there is a sacred place, a secret meeting place. Love is there. In the silence, where every color blends and every rainbow ends, God is there. In the light, now you find that you know peace of mind. In the silence, your path is paved in gold, and all your dreams unfold. Love is there, peace is there, truth is there, God is there.
Let's just close our eyes as we get ready for meditation. And let's invite energetically all the service people around the world, our veterans, into the light, for them to receive that inner peace, divine love, and wholeness. Tomorrow is November 11th. Energetically, it's 11/11. It's an ascension portal. There's huge energy coming into the planet, more than ever before, to assist us in our evolution and ascension. Individually, planetary, and Mother Earth, collective consciousness. So just let's allow our breath to carry us, to bring these light codes, these sacred light codes, into our cells, into our hearts, and just know that this breath work, deep divine breathing, is bringing that into our energy field. And be willing to let go of what's not working. Let it be transmuted to the light. Be willing to receive and remember the divine aspect that you truly are. So in the silence, I'm going to guide you into a few breathing exercises that you can continue at home. And then we'll be in the silence to do it on your own. So let's take a deep, long inhale, bringing this light into our beingness, into our hearts. Hold that breath and assimilate it. Exhale. Extend that light. And again, take a deep inhale. bringing this divine, sacred light codes into our beingness. Hold it to assimilate it. And on the exhale, extend it. And just set the intention that you're breathing in these light codes as we go into silence. And as we come back to the room, let's just get started and join us singing the Lord's Prayer. Thank you.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. Amen.
Good morning. This one is for all the veterans and all the service people. I'll represent the submarine veterans. This is something I wrote a few years ago for tomorrow. I got a list of all those things I ought to be doing. Everybody wants a piece of my time, and I'm barely moving. I cried in the shower this morning over people I've known. Their lives full of sacrifices and with nothing to show. It's just another day in November, I suppose. Just another veteran story that nobody knows. I got a wall full of affirmations, some stuck to the bathroom mirror. This retired old soul doesn't know how to say things too clear. On a good day, I think that I must have won the luck of the draw. But sometimes these feelings surface and my nerves are all raw. I'll do what I can about fixing the roof to keep out the snow. But right now there's some other place I need to go. I'm thankful for this day and for all good things coming my way. I'll get around to raking the leaves, make them all go away, but it won't be today. Stopped by for a visit, I'm saddened by the look on his face. My hat in my hand, there'll be no one to fill his space. I can't even imagine all the hell he went through. But he did what he did just because it was his to do. And all the God-forsaken places our heroes could go. How some of them end up here, I don't know. But I'm thankful for this day and for all those lives he helped save. Yes, I'm thankful for each day. I'll get down on my knees and I'll pray. And I'll get around to what needs to be done without any further delay. But it won't be today. No, it won't be today.
Greg, that was wonderful. Thank you for that. We loved it. So I'd like to introduce our guest speaker today, Suzette Faith Foster. Now, Suzette is a speaker, an author. She is a holistic healing facilitator, a transformational coach, and an interfaith minister. And she does all of this through her business, Choose to Thrive. She empowers and supports others to move through their lives of health or health challenges and return to wellness. And her clients have avoided scheduled surgeries, gotten off medicines, and healed their pain, cancer, and addiction. Emotionally, they reduce stress, chaos, and old programming to bring more inner peace to themselves. In the last 2 years, her guidance has led her to focus more on going deeper within herself. And so she has studied and she has practiced forgiveness and she has healed as she has raised her awareness through the Course in Miracle teachings. Now, her miraculous story is featured in the nationally released film, I Hope You Dance, and it is another testament that when we embrace ourselves as mind, body, and spirit beings, we know no boundaries. Her book, Calling Back Your Power, and her CDs help us create our own transformations in the world, and they unlock the gate to an easier, happier, and healthier life, to knowing the truth of who we are, that we are divine, loving, amazing, beautiful children of God. And so, Suzette, we are so glad to have you back with us today. Applause, please, and let's welcome Suzette to the platform.
Hello again, everyone. I really feel that Rev Bev is having fun with all of us with the messages that have been occurring this past month. 3 weeks ago, I spoke on walking the path of peace through forgiveness. Reverend Wally talked about forgiveness a little bit. Today, I'm back to talk about forgiveness some more. Next week, Reverend Wally's talking about forgiveness again. I can just hear Rev Bev saying, I'm up here, I see the big picture. Do the forgiveness exercises. Do the forgiveness, it's so powerful. She's here with us every step of the way. And I really like to think she's helping us remember who we truly are. So 3 weeks ago, I did encourage you to look at anybody who's been pushing your buttons, to be a mirror to something in you that is asking to be healed. Now, the ego thought process, the ego in us doesn't want to do that. The ego wants to blame and judge. And keep in mind, we've had lifetimes, 1,000 lifetimes of more of the ego running our show. So it's going to take some time. And the forgiveness helps us diminish the ego, helps us chip away at the ego. And as shared with you 3 weeks ago, to say, I forgive myself for all the lifetimes I did that very thing that's pushing my buttons in you. How cool is that? Because at some unconscious level, we're attracting everything to us to show us what we need to heal. And again, the ego wants to resist change. The ego doesn't want to admit that. Do the forgiveness anyway. Practice the forgiveness, because with time, it does chip away, and the truth of who we are gets exposed more and more. Jesus shares the truth of who we are is already within us. But keep in mind, we've had all these lifetimes of the ego thought system covering up that truth, reacting from the ego's position of fear in separation from God. Yet the truth of who we are is already within us. Our job is to remember that, to practice the forgiveness, and keep working at chipping away that reactive ego. So the mirror practice, again, is just to want to remind you, is looking at everybody eventually as a gift. Doesn't happen for a while. To see that whoever is pushing our buttons is really showing us an aspect of us that needs healing. And it's great to start off immediately, get in the habit of, I surrender them or this situation to the light. Bring the light in. We don't have to do any of this alone. Bring the light in. I surrender you to the light. And then see them for who they truly are, beyond their limited lack place that they may be expressing from in that moment. That's not who they really are. When we get angry and fear-based, that's not who we really are. But we get to see others. That's part of our spiritual journey. That's part of how we expand as we practice it a little bit every day. And some days we need to practice it a lot. So let's surrender them to the light. Let's see them already as the Christ. And then let's do our forgiveness work. I forgive myself for the lifetimes I've acted that way. May not be this lifetime, but it's happened. It's in your energy field, or we would not be attracting them to us to show us what we have to heal. And we know it's not fun. We know it's exhausting. We know the ego, that reactive ego, will rear its head. But the practice is getting back to remember. Even if you get angry, even if you judge, make fun of somebody, step back and catch yourself and come back to the forgiveness as soon as possible. Come back to seeing them as the Christ and surrendering them to Spirit. Spirit sees the big picture. Let Spirit work on their mind. We get to do what we can do from a spiritual perspective and see them as the Christ. Our job is to do the forgiveness and to see them in their truth, not in their limitation. So this mirror exercise stuff really has helped me for many years. I even wrote about it in my book. It's very powerful. But I do want to share another level of true forgiveness that Jesus shares in A Course in Miracles. It's taking forgiveness to an either deeper, more powerful level. And I really just want to share it with you today. I've been feeling very guided to remind you of this. And it basically starts to help us go deeper and again, stop blaming others. That's the ego. Fear, blame, judgment. It's all the ego thought system. But true forgiveness takes forgiveness to another level, and it says, I forgive you. No, I forgive myself for projecting this illusion. How many of you have heard that this world is an illusion? Yeah, a lot of people have. I've probably heard it for 15 or 20 years before I decided to do anything with it. And whether you do anything with this world being an illusion or not from today's talk, I just really feel it's great to let that kind of go around in your mind, remind you again of who you really are. It's helped me a lot shift some of my life themes. Any of you have any life themes that seem to come back and again and again? Stuff that pushes your buttons, hurts you, throws you off course. Again, some themes take a lot longer to heal. And you've probably noticed that. Some things we can let go of pretty easily. But if it's a life theme, and depending on how many past lives that we've been believing that, it can take quite a while to shift. And Jesus says the forgiveness is what diminishes the ego. Again, the ego is the thought system of fear and separation from God. It's run our lives for 1,000 years. So be gentle with yourself. Let it take some time. Practice, practice, practice. But it's the forgiveness exercises that are going to help you diminish that reactive ego and move into that oneness that we truly are with God, to remember. And that may take many, many more lifetimes. But peace is what we get in the moment, more and more and more. So this idea of being an illusion is not a new idea. We've had it, millennium. Even, I'm sure it goes back even before 2,500 years ago, but around that time, starting with Socrates, then Plato, and then Buddha, all talked about the illusion. And then the Hinduism also uses the word Maya, which is things appear to be present that aren't as they seem. That's pretty much the definition of illusion. Things are different than they appear. And then we had Jesus talking about the illusion. Jesus shares that the separation idea, which is really this world, is an illusion. And then we have Shakespeare talking about the illusion. Then even Einstein called it an optical delusion of consciousness. It's not a new idea. And then Mary Baker Eddy, who founded Christian Science Church, talked about the material world is all illusion. And then quantum physics, the science, has been around for 90 years, speaks to this, that this world is an illusion. that what we think is reality is an illusion. That time and space, which is everything we experience here, is an illusion. So what do we do with that? Okay, we've heard pieces of that or some of that. What do we do with that? And Jesus wants to invite us to remember forgiveness leads us home to our oneness with God. We're either in that thought process of being one with God, or we're in the separation thought process of the ego, thinking anything of fear and separation of God, because we cannot have fear when we're in alignment with our oneness with God. So as we forgive, I forgive myself for projecting this illusion. It's a good place to start. And it's beyond our understanding why we can feel so real. Why? No, you can't tell me this is an illusion. I've had all these problems in my body, and I can feel it. And let me just say, let's look at all these teachings about illusion and be open to what we don't understand. We can do the forgiveness. We can be open to something beyond our thinking and start to have the peace come more and more to our hearts. And a great analogy, a great way to think about this is your nighttime dreams. How many of you have had dreams that felt so real? Even the nightmares. You could have been, being chased. Someone wanted to kill you. Really, really scary. And you could feel your heart palpitating. You were tired from running. You could feel all that. Or any dream. But especially the nightmare, you wake up and you realize you're still in bed. You shake it off. And that was just a dream. I'm really safe and snuggled in my bed. Jesus tells us that when we really wake up to this illusion, when we do enough forgiveness work, when we leave this earth plane, we will be aware too that this experience was just a dream. And so the idea of the illusion teaching has been around so long. And yet, real people like us have had experiences of it. And one of the cool stories is the late film critic Roger Ebert. When he was dying, he admitted to his wife, I don't even know if I really believe in God. I have my doubts. And the night before he died, he passed her a note that said, this is all an elaborate hoax. And she said, what do you mean by that? And he said, this reality, this world is an illusion. And there was a part of her first thought was, he's confused, something's going on. But a deeper part of her absolutely knew he was telling the truth. So again, what do we do with knowing this is an illusion? We act normal in the illusion. I can't say that enough. Don't think, it's just an illusion, I don't have to care. As long as we believe we're bodies, we're going to be affected by this illusion. It's important to be normal. If someone's going through a tough time, we're compassionate, we're caring. Do what you need to do. Make your meals, do your shopping, work. Just know behind it, it's all an illusion. And again, it takes practice. It takes practice. As Melanie was saying, one of our guiding principles is just knowing the knowledge is not enough. We've got to practice. So as we start to understand, I can look at this differently. I forgive myself for projecting this illusion. And I like to say, I forgive myself for believing this dream. Whatever works for you. I often practice, I just practice during my day. I'm having a dream that I'm up here speaking to UCR. I'm having a dream that I'm driving into town. I'm having a dream that I just got angry. Because it gets us remembering that it's just a dream, which ultimately is going to help us not take outside things so seriously. It's just a dream. But again, we do what's normal. We take care of ourselves. We exercise. We eat well. We take care of ourselves. We take care of our loved ones. If someone's in a lot of pain, you're compassionate and you care. You listen. But again, right behind it, you see them as the Christ. You see them as already whole, not in the limited body that they are showing up as today. And that may be their time to exit the earth plane. It's still part of the dream. But as long as we can hold the people as divine perfection, I know who you really are. Say that to yourself. Most people couldn't handle what I'm sharing today. But you know who they really are. You know who you are. You're going through a tough time, financial challenges, or children who are really not doing well. You care. But we can do more by holding ourselves and them in the light. Because when we don't react from anger and fear, guess what? We allow more of that divine wisdom in. We hear those little nudges of what to do next, how to help them in the illusion. We're here to live in this illusion. We chose to be here. But Jesus wants us to get to recognize that it's an illusion without believing in it. And that does take a lot of practice. And I want to share that this is what's really helped me on some of my life themes. You know, think about people that have pushed your buttons. Most of the time, we want them to change. We think we're right. And it comes from a good place most of the time. It comes from caring. It comes from wanting them healthy or happier. Yet, our job, our opportunity in all of this is to remember who we each are. We're not limited. We're pure spirit. Jesus wants to drive home that we're already whole. We're already free. And he says forgiveness is not about changing what just happened to you. It's about being free of the effects of what just happened. That is powerful. Forgiveness is not about changing what just happened. It's about being free of the effects. Free of the politician that drives you crazy. Free of the boss who is demanding and unappreciative. Free of the family member that's not pulling their weight. Free. We get to be free. We get to choose how we react. And the more we do the forgiveness, it's chipping away at that illusion. Chipping away at the ego's reactiveness. And we all know that is a journey. It's a many lifetime journey. And I want to share that this light that's really coming into the planet now in a big, big way, more than ever before, is lifting us up to be able to remember who we really are. So we have support. Do our part. Do the forgiveness part. I forgive myself for projecting this illusion. I know who I am. I'm not this limited lack mentality. I am showing up that way today, but that's not who I really am. I'm pure spirit. I'm free. I'm wholeness. I'm divine love. I'm divine peace. And when we do the work, Jesus shares it's the Holy Spirit, you can say Spirit, comes in and literally changes things. Our job is the forgiveness job. Our job, all healing, whether it's physical or life situations, is done in our mind first. All healing is in the mind. You want to change anything in your life? Let's start forgiving ourselves for believing the illusion. Chip away at that ego. Now, as I said, the egos run our lives for forever. So be gentle with yourself. Be human. Be normal. But know right behind it who you really are. When the hurricane was coming into the Bahamas, several days ahead, I was just being divine love, and I was expanding that love to include the weather patterns. I was doing my part. And we know the devastation that happened there. And when I was watching the news, it was horrible. Tears came down my cheeks. But I knew right behind it that every one of those people were already right now safe in their oneness with God. Just like when we wake up from the dream, we're already safely in our bed. Each one of those people and all of us, right this minute, we are free. We are already home in our oneness with God. And that's what most of us don't know. So we are stretching our thinking. Most people don't want to change. The ego loves that. Jesus says any type of analyzing and resistance to change is the ego not wanting you to remember who you are. We are free already. We just have to get our mind wrapped in a new place. Instead of focusing on the problems, remember to try to remember who you really are. I am free. I am whole. I am pure spirit. All my needs are met abundantly. Now, saying that may not change your checkbook right in that minute, but it's changing your mind. And when you really get connected to that in a big way, the miracles in the illusion can change. And we knew that with my health story. Instantly, I was able to breathe again when there was no medical explanation why I could breathe. I was supposed to be a quadriplegic. We're not our bodies, but we got to get our mind wrapped around that and change our thinking in a deeper way. And one of the big stories for me is one of my life themes was back, rearing its head for me to heal. And like many of us, we want the other person to change. I was even aware that I had said, ultimately, it's my responsibility to change my thinking. And I still want you to change along the way. Now, if you don't have that as a life theme, that might just work out that that person's going to shift and change just the way you need it. In hindsight, my life theme was to get to the point where I didn't need this person to do what I wanted them to do. It was a hard road. 100 out of 100 people would have probably agreed with me that my needs, yes, they're very reasonable. Doesn't matter if we're right. It depends on what your soul is here to heal and what level your soul is ready to wake up. Nothing changed until I got so frustrated one day. And I would do really well for 2 or 3 months with this situation, and then another layer would show up and I'd get angry. And again, that's okay, that's the journey. But I got right back onto it. And I just said, Spirit, I am done needing this person to act any different for me to feel fine. All my needs are met in my oneness with God. All my needs are met. But I'm acting small, needing them to change. And I just could feel a shift, that I was done with needing that person to change or show up differently. And I want to tell you, I was working on that specific thing with this forgiveness stuff for a year and a half or more, every day. And that's why I could go 2 or 3 months without it bothering me. As Jesus said, I was observing, recognizing the illusion without believing it. But then another layer would show up. Be okay, that's the journey. But it took that last time of getting upset for me to really get, I'm done. And that was over 3 months ago. And that situation has been gone permanently. I'm putting it out there permanently, but it's not been showing up, and it was showing up all the time. So it took me a year and a half. Don't judge how long it takes us to heal stuff. We've had lifetimes of this stuff. Be gentle on yourself. Jesus says, keep on forgiving. And I would even say, my gosh, how many layers do I have left? This should have been gone a long time ago, because I was dedicated to doing the work. I was doing the work. And now I'm very appreciative that that person didn't change. How's that for a shift? Very appreciative that I got to heal some really big stuff. So remember, everybody out here is just showing us more layers of what's in us that's really ready to heal. I forgive myself for projecting this illusion. I see us all as oneness with God. Who in your life is helping you go to your next level? Thank you.
The jack on this thing is like giving me trouble. Okay, all right, loud noise. How about that? Spirit. So I've had my issues recently that I've been dealing with, and I've been remembering Bev telling me stuff about it years ago, and I'm finally able to do what she was talking about. So I think that's really a good thing. Thank you, Suzette. It's all about forgiven. And I wrote this one. It's not going to stay, is it? If I move it. There we go. All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. The things that happened in the past don't matter anymore. Happened and you can't change that. But it's over. It's not happening now. You still feel the pain, but there's no one else to blame. Everyone else has changed. It's time. You were forgiven. It hurts nobody but you. No one thinking about it but you. Anger is a poison that spreads throughout your life. You still feel the pain, time, but there's no one else to blame. Everyone else has changed. It's time you were forgiven. Doesn't matter what it was. If you got hurt, you gotta let it go. You're gonna feel like this till you do. Everyone makes mistakes, even you. It doesn't matter if you have to leave. This is about you. The past doesn't matter anymore. It's not happening now. You still feel the pain, but there's no one left to blame. Everyone else has changed. It's time you were forgiven. When you don't feel the pain and you stop the blame, you know everyone has changed. You will be forgiven. You have been forgiven. You have been forgiven. Yeah. Thank you. So now let's prepare for our offering by singing the song, I See Abundance Everywhere. She has to get back to the piano.
Wait, I get back to the piano.
That's all right. I see abundance everywhere, God's rich supply beyond compare. It's ours to use and to enjoy, His gifts to us without alloy. Prosperity, prosperity, I know my own has come to me. God sends His children joy and peace, good health and wisdom and increase. And we are grateful, voices raised to Thee, O God, in hymns of praise. Now, before we take up the offering, we always say thank you. And I have to say that it is a little unnerving, but it's really wonderful to see all of you looking this way because we have a projector that is projecting the songs up on the walls. I am so grateful for that. Lynn and Greg were here, and Sharon was running support and taking photos. She was the designated photographer of that event. They put up a new projector, which we will use on Sunday mornings for announcements and for the songs so that we can look up as we sing together. It'll be used for bingo when we have that in January. It'll be used for movie nights and for classes. It's just awesome. I love how we raise money, and I love how we spend money in this church. No, it's good, because that's what it's for. It's right of consciousness. We bring it in and we send it out, right? So now let's prepare for our offering by remembering that all good things come from God. So we affirm our offertory blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, and all that I give and receive. Together, divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am and have, and all that I give and receive. And so it is. Amen.
Good morning. Great talk by Suzette. Thank you so much. I think when we can forgive, we have the chance to be transformed. The name of this song is Transformation. Who's this by again?
Oh, this would be by Van Morrison.
Oh, another. I've been doing some Van Morrisons lately. What can I tell you? Gonna be a transformation in your heart and your soul. Gonna be a transformation, baby, now that you know. Get used to righteousness when it makes you feel whole, yeah. Gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Remember when we were downhearted and no place to go? And the wisdom of insecurity, just knowing what we know. Then something starts happening and you feel like you're on a roll. Gonna be a transformation down in your soul. God's like a river, keeps on wanting to flow, keeps on advancing with the wisdom you know. Time has a rhythm when the love is the law, yeah. Love is forever, baby, down in your soul. Alright, gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Gonna be a transformation, baby, now that you know. Get used to righteousness when it makes you feel whole. Gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Alright, gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Gonna be a transformation now that you know. Get used to righteousness when it makes you feel whole. Gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Do 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 do.
Gonna be a transformation down in your soul.
Do
Get used to righteousness, make you feel whole.
Gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Alright, gonna be a transformation down in your soul. Thank you.
Thanks, Alan. We love Van Morrison and we appreciate you. Awesome. Let's bless these offerings. Let's go with them. Thank you, Lord, for this day and our many blessings. Thank you for these tithes and love offerings given both here and through our 3G automatic giving program. They are divine substance made real through faith, imagination, and belief. Thank you, God, for the truth we know. God within prospers us, and so we prosper others, bringing more love, light, and laughter to the planet. And so it is. Amen. Now let's stand and welcome our kids back by singing "We Are Walking in the Light."
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. In the light, in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light of God. We are walking in the joy, in the joy, in the joy. We are walking in the joy of God.
We were a small but mighty group today. Did y'all have fun, Jenny? Yeah. We wrote the gratitude song today, so stay tuned. November 24th, our gratitude service here, and the kids will have a song, so it will be awesome. So shall we bless these people? We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you together. We love you, we bless you, we appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Y'all too, thank you so much for coming out and being with your church family this week. Suzette, thank you for being with us. I know it was wonderful. Friendly reminder, Suzette has some items for sale on the table by the door. Please remember that she tithes 10% of her sales back to UCR, which is beautiful. We thank you for that, and her book would make a wonderful holiday present this year. So the most important thing that you can do today, besides attend the SSAT meeting and enjoy hospitality and think about all the things you're grateful for, is to go out into this great, big, beautiful world this week and let your light shine, knowing that the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us.
And the presence of God watches over us.
And wherever we are, God is.
Wherever we are, God
And
is.
all is well.
And all is well.
And now let's join hands and sing our prayer for the planet.
Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, a peace that was meant to be. With God as creator, united all are we. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyful vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me.
We are thankful for this day and all good things coming our way. We are living transformation in our hearts and souls, and we get used to righteousness because it makes us feel whole. Namaste.
Gonna be a transformation now that you know. Get used to righteousness.